Now, this has me really, really upset, okay? EA Sports college football was supposed to be released next year. And apparently, the College Football Players Association is organizing a boycott of EA Sports' upcoming college football game. Now, raise your hand if you knew that college football had a players association. Put it down because most people did not. I mean, these boys have a players association, but yet they can't properly come up with a way to monitor NIL and the transfer portal. Like, how the hell do we have a players association before we have any proper rules and regulations for the transfer portal and the whole NIL thing? That makes no sense to me. But regardless, we got a players association, and the vice president of this association is a former Clemson player. And I would say his name, but I just don't know how to pronounce it. I tried. I'm sorry. I'm not going to come on and embarrass him and myself. But he pretty much says that, and according to this tweet by On3 Sports, they were the first people to report this. The College Football Players Association is organizing a boycott of the 2024 EA Sports college football game. The payout for athletes is expected to be $500. And the vice president of this association says that players should not opt into it. It's just a ridiculously low amount of money. And I'm really upset about this because what you mean $500 is a low amount of money? You get $500 for your name, image, and likeness to be in the upcoming college football game? Like, I don't think it gets any better than that. Like, how much more money are you expecting to get from this thing? And then, as you really dive into the report, he says that he talks about how much money NFL players get for being in Madden, which is somewhere around $17,000 to $28,000. But I mean, you're a college football player. These college football games do not sell as well as Madden. Madden has a way bigger fan base, a way bigger audience than what college football does. Now, college football does have a pretty big fan base, but this game, at least before it ended up taking a little bit of a hiatus, never sold as well as what Madden did. So how much more money are you expecting to get for this thing? Like, do you want $1,000 for this? Like, I think that's a little bit too much to be asking for if you're a collegiate athlete. Now, I'm not getting mad at these players if they do end up boycotting the game, because, I mean, all these players want is more money, and I'll never get mad at anybody for asking for more money. But when it comes to EA Sports and how they should handle this situation, I think there's a pretty easy solution for it. And you know what it is? Say, F having the players in the game. Let's just go for it with the games. Have the schools, have the mascots, have a good dynasty mode, have a great road to glory mode, and let's just put randomized players in the game. Like, let's just be honest, bro. Like, we care way more about playing with our favorite schools, our favorite universities than we do playing with the actual players that play for said teams and universities. The main reason why we brought NCAA 14 was because it was the closest thing to being able to simulate the college experience. I mean, in the old NCAA games, the actual players weren't really in there for real. At least they didn't really have their names in there. They may have had a player that looked a little bit similar to his actual counterpart in real life. But I mean, let's just be honest, bro. Like, we still would buy this game if there were actual players in it, or without actual players being in it. All we just want is our college football game. So if you're EA Sports, just say F it, man. Like, we're not going to overpay for having athletes in this game. We're just going to go forward with the schools, the universities, the mascots in the stadiums, and making sure that the gameplay is good, and making sure that the dynasty mode and road to glory mode is in depth. And this game is still going to sell well regardless if the players are in it or not. And when it comes to who should be on the cover of that thing, I think it's pretty easy. Just put Joe Burrow on the cover of that thing, and everything is solved. I don't think that the College Football Players Association has too much leverage in this thing. And I think that it's going to be a really giant failure if EA Sports goes about what I just said, and they just say, you know what, we don't need to have the actual players in this game. We're just going to have generic players in it. And then, what are they going to do then? they're really the only people who take a loss on this thing, because there's players that are playing for James Madison University right now that you don't even know of. You go against them in NCAA and the new NCAA football game that's coming out next year, supposedly, allegedly. There may be a player that you may end up taking a liking to because you use him in your dynasty rebuild when you're trying to win national champions, and you may end up looking him up in real life. You may watch a couple of his highlights and may end up giving this guy a social media follow. I mean, like, the only people who are hurting themselves in this thing are the college football players who decide to opt out. I mean, you can say that, yeah, JT, these players should get a little bit more money for it. They should get a little bit more of the revenue for it, if depending on how well it sells. But at the end of the day, man, like, I don't really think they have as much leverage as what they think. It would be different if this was the NFL. You see, the NFL is a little bit more player driven than what college football is. And the thing about college football, the reason why I don't really think it matters if you have the players in the game or not is because most college football fans support their teams for their universities. Either they were alumni at said school, either they attended said school, either they grew up as a kid going to said school's college football games every weekend. Like, college football fans gravitate towards the school, not the players. Plus, with the transfer portal nowadays, with these players transferring in and out left and right, I mean, it makes it hard for you to really gravitate towards any player. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I would love to play with Caleb Williams in this new college football game, but if he's not in it, so be it. It's not gonna stop me from buying the game. So if you're EA Sports, I think the simple solution for this is like, okay, like, we may slightly increase it by $200 or whatnot, but we're not going to go broke trying to give you like $17,000 or $28,000 a year for it. Like, come on, bro. Like, I think this is a simple solution. Just take the players out the game. Just make generic randomized players, and then you have create a roster or edit a roster, and just let what people been doing with NCAA 14 continuing to edit the rosters and put the real players in and edit them to look closer to their real life counterparts, and then upload it online so people can download it and play with those players. That's the simple solution. People already been doing this with NCAA 14 for years. I would know because I still play NCAA 14 and I still play with the updated rosters every single year. So if you're EA Sports, like, I don't really think you're put in a situation where you're back against the wall and this should postpone you being able to put this game out. And if you're a fan, like, I really don't think you should be worried about this, because I think EA Sports should be able to see the same thing I see in this situation. These players want more money, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that they're getting a little bit greedy. You're not professional athletes. You are collegiate athletes. The college football video game series does not sell as well as what the Madden series does. The NFL is the most popular sport in America. And then followed behind that, you probably may have college football or whatnot, but it doesn't sell as well as what the Madden franchise does. And listen, like, they got a very good vice president, but I think that these players opting out and not being in this game really isn't going to affect how this game performs. People still are going to buy the game. People are still going to play it. There's still going to be millions of college football athletes who are going to buy the game and they're going to play it. And then they're going to opt out and they're going to be like, damn, bro, like, I was kind of looking forward to playing with myself in this game. Like, I go to FAU. I know there's going to be tons of FAU players that are going to be like, damn, bro, like, I would love to have played with myself in this game. So, I mean, like, I don't really think this is hurting anybody but the college football players that actually want to be in this game. Like, I get it. Like, I'm never going to get mad at these athletes for fighting for what they believe in. But I think that they're kind of being a little bit greedy when it comes to getting more money. Like, I think $500 in a free copy of this game is more than enough. Like, you need a revenue split from this, fam. Like, bro, there are plenty of other athletes that have no NIL deals. I know plenty of players that go to FAU right now that have no NIL deals. They'll take this $500 in a heartbeat. This $500 could help a lot of players change their situations. If you already aren't having any NIL deals, I mean, come on. Like, there are supposed to be 131 schools in this game. You really think that all these players, like, what, 15,000 of them combined, are going to be able to all have NIL deals? And I get it. For those kind of players, you can make another argument. You can play devil's advocate and be like, well, JT, that's the reason why they should get more money. Okay, but at the end of the day, they don't really have the leverage that they think. We can play this game and be perfectly fine without having the actual players on the rosters. I could really care less. Just put QB number 3, wide receiver number 15, cornerback number 0, and I'll be perfectly fine as long as the game plan is good. The dynasty mode is in-depth and better than what it was in NCAA 14. You're able to build off that, and you have a really in-depth road to glory mode, and I'm okay. I don't really give a damn if we have real, actual players in this game or not. I just want a freaking college football game. I want a real, authentic college football experience in this upcoming college football game, and I'm going to be really pissed if this thing gets postponed for another year because of this. Because who really cares about having the actual players in this game? Like, honestly, tell me down in the comment section down below if you actually care about playing with Caleb Williams or Bo Nix, Michael Penix. Like, I love those guys, but I could care less if they are in this upcoming college football game, man. Like, I just want my college football video game back. That's all I want. Do you know how long we've been waiting for this to come back? Like, there were a lot of serious doubts that we would ever get another college football video game. That's why many of us were pushing for NIL to end up being implemented. And when it got passed, we were all excited because college football, the video games were going to be able to come back. And it just seems like it's just roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock when it comes to getting our beloved college football video game franchise back. Like, I could give a rat's you know what about playing with actual players, bruh. I really don't care. I play the college football games to play with my favorite schools. These players, they don't really stay long in college football anyway. Either they transfer out or they end up declaring for the NFL. So what's really the point? Who cares? I don't think these players have the leverage they think when it comes to this college football video game. Now, if EA Sports wants to up the ante and they want to pay them $1,000, I think that's cool. But if they're looking at getting $17,000, $28,000 and some revenue splits, man, I think they're tripping. I think they're out of their freaking mind. Like, if you're EA Sports, man, like, you have all the leverage in this thing. Like, they make it seem like this is slavery with people being able to play using their name, image, and likeness. Like, it's not slavery. It's not a bad thing. Like, I don't think they're being lowballed. You have the opportunity to be in a college football video game with people who are going to be able to play with you, who may end up helping grow your social media audience and your brand, and plus you're getting a free $500, dog. Like, that's gas money for what, 3 months? You're a college student. A lot of these college athletes that's playing at these G5 schools, like Louisiana Tech, University of Louisiana Monroe, most of those players aren't getting NIL deals. They'll take that $500 in a heartbeat. Hell, if they don't want it, I'll take it. Shit. Give me $500 right now. I'll be happy as hell. Like, I could care less about having actual players in the upcoming college football video game, bro. And if this thing gets postponed because of it, I'm going to be real heated. Real heated. But if you're EA Sports, man, I don't really think your back is against the wall. I don't really think you have to bend to this players association that I never knew anything about until today, because these players want more money. Who cares? Just take them out the game. Just move forward with having the schools and universities in there, making sure that you have an authentic college football experience in this game. That's why most people love college football anyway. College football is not player driven. It's driven by the schools. It's driven by the universities. It's driven because of the pageantry, the experience that you get when you go to a college football game, the atmosphere, the different band music, the different theme songs, the different chants, the different pre-game entrances. Nobody cares about the players being in this game or not, honestly.